and welcome to my Bout of Books 24 reading vlog and wrap up. I took some vlog footage over the course of the readathon week, so I'm going to share that with you now, and then I will come back to you at the end and talk about a few stats, what I read, how many pages I read, how many books I read, etc. If you don't want to stick around until the end, I will leave my blog post of my wrap up linked below, which has all the stats in it as well. My blog and all my social media are linked below. I do try and update on social media as I'm doing readathons and like generally about what I'm reading anyway, so make sure you're following me on there, and I will see you in a moment. So it is Bout of Books day 2. I didn't share an awful lot yesterday just because I was working all day, and then when I came home I was super tired. I just wanted to not talk, which I kind of did. I managed to read Paper Girls Volume 4 yesterday and almost all of Paper Girls Volume 5. If I'd just been able to keep my eyes open for like another 30 pages of a graphic novel, that's how tired I was. Couldn't manage that. And I listened to all of the audiobook of Odd One Out by Nick Stone, which I loved. I have shared my thoughts on that on Instagram. I am out and about a little bit today, but I've already managed to start a new ebook. I've read 20% of that. Started that over breakfast. Reading over breakfast, the key to a readathon. Busy this afternoon and this evening, but hopefully we'll read a little bit more before bed, and whilst I'm out and about we'll get some audiobook listened to. So yeah, I will be back to update you soon. So I have just been to see a movie. I went to see Second Act, which was nice. It was a nice rom-com. It's what you'd expect. And during the previews and on the way here, I listened to some audiobooks. So I'm making a bit of progress with Evermore. I'm now going to go and get some lunch, and I will read my Kindle book over lunch. Right, let's get some reading done. I haven't managed to do a whole lot of physical reading today. I've been doing some audiobook. One of my audiobook apps just like refused to play in the car. I've no idea why, but so I switched to a different audiobook that I was in the middle of. So yeah, so that will count towards my pages for today, but for now I have come to replenish resources, aka get a coffee, in case you couldn't tell from that last shot. I'm super tired today. I've just been running around here, there and everywhere. I did read 3 picture books during my volunteering session today, and obviously sing the songs that went with them, so that's some more books towards their counting for today's pages too. It's Bout of Books, every little counts. So day 5 wasn't a great day for the readathon. I managed a little bit of snowy reading over breakfast, but then I only managed a little bit of audiobook in the car, and Friday night I went to sleep. So let's skip to day 6. So I just finished listening to Evermore on audiobook in bed. Yay, finally finished it. I felt like it was just never going to finish. I kept listening to little bits and not making any progress. Did the Twitter chat this morning, which was lovely, and now I'm going to have some breakfast and read some more of Happy Girl Lucky, because I am going to finish this today. Well, I just literally am going to finish it today because the readathon ends tomorrow. How did that happen? So this morning I finished listening to Evermore by Sarah Holland, and then I went and sat down with my Kindle and before lunch finished Happy Girl Lucky by Holly Smale. So I finished my audiobook and I finished my ebook. Mixed feelings about Evermore. Happy Girl Lucky was awesome. I love Holly Smale. It was like great to be reading her again. And then I picked up The Flight of Cornelia Blackwood by Susan Elliott Wright, which is published in the UK next month. And I'm just like flying through it. I'm so intrigued by the story. I still don't know what's happening and what's going to happen, which is exciting. So I'm going to have some dinner now and then do some reading in the bath. Oh my goodness, I just finished The Flight of Cornelia Blackwood and it was amazing. I mean, the fact that I didn't pick this up until, what, about like 5 o'clock today, and I've stopped for dinner and what have you, and I've read right through to finish it off, says an awful lot. Oh my goodness. There's a little more than 2 hours left. I am a little over halfway through Words We Don't Say, and I'm like, can I finish it before the readathon is up? I mean, the answer is that I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So I did it. I just finished Words We Don't Say, and I still have 40 minutes left with the readathon, but I'm calling it there. I'm not going to read anything else. I did consider picking something else up, but I think I will just note down my stats, and then we can move on and start a new reading week next week. I hope you enjoyed that vlog footage. Let's talk about stats. So there was one book that I just read part of during the week because I'd already listened to the rest of it before Bout of Books started. I was planning on leaving it all together, but then, as you'll have seen, I had a day where my audiobook just wouldn't work. So I listened to The End of Sadie by Courtney Summers. I will give you some more thoughts on all of these books at the end of the month in my wrap up. So make sure you're subscribed so that lands in your subscription feed and you don't miss out. So I had 144 pages of this left. Having the physical book meant that I could actually look at my page count. So yes, this 144 pages counts towards the readathon, but I didn't count it as a whole book that I finished, so it was just one part book. Then, unusually for me, you may know if you've been following me for a while, I didn't used to read any graphic novels, and I have just started reading graphic novels, and I know that they are very handy for readathons. So I read 2 graphic novels during this week. I read Paper Girls Volume 4 and Paper Girls Volume 5. I actually borrowed these from my library on ebook and read them both on my iPad during the first day of the readathon, just because I was kind of here, there and everywhere. So having my iPad with me and being able to just read a few pages of the graphic novel nice and quickly, nice and easily, just really worked for me. So yeah, 2 graphic novels during the week. Then I listened to Odd One Out by Nick Stone on audiobook. I had listened to Dear Martin by Nick Stone on audiobook, and so that's why I waited. You might have seen this on my TBR a few times. I waited till I got the audiobook of this one to listen to that, but that counts as a complete book. I did have the other one out of the library in case the audiobook just continued to not come, but it came eventually, yay. Then in terms of other audiobooks, the other audiobook that I listened to was Evermore, which is the sequel to Everless by Sarah Holland. Again, check for my January wrap up for more thoughts on these, but that was the one that I wasn't playing for the day because the app that I borrowed it from the library on just wasn't being my friend. Then, because I did 2 lots of volunteering during the week, as you'll have seen, I counted the picture books that we read in volunteering towards my book count and towards my page count, because I was reading them, they count as reading, and so I counted them towards my reading for the week. So I read 5 picture books. So we've had 2 graphic novels, 1 part book, 5 picture books. They were Happy Hippo, I went with hangry then, Happy Hippo Angry Duck by Sandra Boynton, which is really funny. If you haven't if you haven't read it, I would recommend it. And then Grumpy Bird. Then I read Under My Hood I Have a Hat, Whose Hat Is That? And A Good Day for a Hat. And you tell there were some themes to the 2 different sessions that I was in there. So yeah, I've already covered all my audiobooks. I did one ebook during the week, and that was Happy Girl Lucky by Holly Smale, which is the start of a new series by Holly Smale. If you loved her Geek Girl books, you will absolutely love her new Valentine series. It's got that same clumsy, ditzy main character that you just love and can totally get behind. I really enjoyed it, and I was so frustrated when I couldn't read more of it. I just couldn't seem to get to it. Like, I was out, so I was able to listen to audiobook in the car, or I was having to do stuff in the house, so I was able to listen to audiobook, and I couldn't just sit down and read. I was reading like 20 pages at a time, and I wanted to just sit down and read it all. It was frustrating. And then a couple of physical books I read. These are the 2 that I showed you that I read at the weekend. I left my weekend as open as possible, and it was really helped by the fact that it was snowy here, so I literally didn't leave the house on Saturday. And then Sunday I came back from brunch and just read and read and read. So the first of these was The Flight of Cornelia Blackwood by Susan Elliott Wright. Let's get those the right way round. This was absolutely fantastic. It is already out on audiobook. It is adult fiction. I would say it's a thriller of sorts. It's very hard to pick what genre this is, but it's just fantastic. There's definitely care warnings for baby loss and care warnings for sort of other forms of grief as well. But if you're okay with those, then definitely pick this up. It comes out in February in the UK, but it is already out on audiobook. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I read it in one sitting. And then another one I basically read in one sitting as well was sent to me by my lovely friend Jenna, and has been on my TBR for a little while now, and is Words We Don't Say by KJ Riley, which is about a boy who has all these kind of unsent texts on his phone to his friend, to his principal, and to this girl that he likes. But he's a deep thinker, and so again, I kind of got on with him straight away, and I read this on Sunday afternoon. So I read 2 physical novels, one of which was adult, one of which was young adult, 2 graphic novels, 2 whole audiobooks, both of which were young adult, and 1 part audiobook, which was also young adult. And then I read the 2, did I already say the graphic novels? I did, and then 5 picture books. So altogether, I read 12 whole things, 1 part book. I read 2,299 pages altogether. See, this is where the picture books really do count for your page count, because it's not like I'm not going to count one of the pages in Paper Girls because it only has pictures on it and no words. They count. They absolutely count. So yeah, so even if you take off the 5 picture books, I still read 7 books and 1 part book in the week, which 7 books is always my goal for a weekly readathon, just because I'll kind of like save myself for that week so I don't kind of burn out and go, no more reading, no, by the time we get to Friday. Yeah, I'm kind of like, oh, I could read 1 page of 1 book to get me to 2,300, because 2,299 is an annoying number. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I hope you enjoyed the stats that I've given you at the end here. If you've made it this far, definitely if you've made this far, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more of these kind of things, there are some more readathons coming up, so I shall probably vlog those as well. Not making any promises, but probably. I will be back with another video for you on Friday. I do have another unboxing video coming up, so make sure you subscribe so that lands in your subscription feed. Movie reviews video will be up on Sunday as usual. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.